Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and it's time for another match preview. It's time for another Champions League match preview. Match day 4, only 1 point on the board, and it could be a make or break week for Celtic in the competition. We need a bit of a favour in the other game, but most importantly, we've got to focus on what we do in our game. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated as we try and get towards 50,000 subscribers. It's bonfire night as I record this video. A couple of disclaimers to go through here. Number one being, if you hear the fireworks going off, then I can't do anything about that, sadly. I really can't. I know I try my best with soundproofing and all that, but you can only go so far when there is literal, bangs going off left, right and centre. So apologies for that. The second disclaimer is, by the time this video is out, I'll be in Spain. I won't be here. This is being recorded on Sunday night, a bit earlier than I would like to do my normal match preview. I usually like to wait for the press conference to come around in case there's any surprise news, injury updates, whatever. I'm not going to be able to react to that in this video. So if Brendan Rodgers drops a bomb on us tomorrow afternoon, and I've not taken that into account in this video, that's the reason why. So please keep that in mind, okay? I'm in Madrid. So, sorry. So it's time to head to the Wanda Metropolitano in Madrid, Spain. The first time Celtic will ever play at the brand new stadium. One of the best in Europe. Very excited to see it myself. And hopefully it's one that Celtic will maybe have a bit of luck in. Who knows? First time lucky? Could it be for Celtic? Listen, if we play anything like we did against Atletico Madrid at Celtic Park a couple of weeks ago, we have every right to say that we're in with a chance. There is every possibility that Celtic could go to Madrid and cause an upset. But that's if we can maintain that standard and that level that we took to them on our home turf. It's a completely different story going away from home, of course. Suddenly the odds are against you. You're playing against a very vocal and very large home support. You're playing in a completely different environment, different climate. It becomes a completely different task after all that travelling. So do I have faith that Celtic can continue those levels that we showed against them a couple of weeks ago? Absolutely. It'll just be a bit trickier. And you've got to take all those outside factors into account. I was so proud of how Celtic played in that first leg against them at Celtic Park. I thought that we showed that we can still go toe-to-toe with some of the best sides in Europe. I think that we showed numerous opportunities in the game where we have some brilliant attacking football and some phases of play that are up there with the very best. It was just one of those nights again where we probably just needed that wee bit of luck on our side. And we don't get luck in Europe, and that's why you've got to make your own luck, ultimately. But just a wee bit more luck on our side that night with the penalty bouncing off the post and right back to Griezmann, for example. And who knows what the result could have been. But it took a great amount of resilience. And in that agony of drawing the game, thinking that you could have won it, you've also got to admire the fact we didn't go on and lose that game. Because so many Celtic sides in the past haven't been able to maintain the level through 90 minutes. Haven't been able to see those sort of games out. And when the going gets tough, well, we certainly haven't got going. We have sometimes failed to the sword and late on let ourselves collapse, but there was a great resiliency. I think that Brendan Rodgers, from a tactical standpoint, went the right way about the game. And if we get our tactics on point at the Wanda Metropolitano, then Celtic have every right to talk about having a chance in this game. Atletico weren't that great. And they haven't been that great. Let's have a look at them for a minute. Let's talk about the opposition. They lost at the weekend. This has been their games since they've played us. A win at home after the weekend following playing us, and then a loss this weekend to Las Palmas, in which some would call a shock. If Las Palmas can do it, Celtic can certainly do it. Celtic are a better side than Las Palmas, with all due respect, but they are. that's just fact. I mean, they'd probably come to Celtic Park and give us a good going, right enough. But we're a better side. You never say never in these type of things. If Las Palmas can do it, we should be able to rise to the occasion and do it as well. Of course, Atletico were away from home. But it's left the league table looking like this. They are down at 4th now. I think when we played them at Celtic Park, they were 3rd in the table with a chance to go top. but now they sit fourth with Girona sitting at the top of the league as I record this video. So yeah, it's not been all great for Atletico since they played us. They weren't even fantastic in their win. It was a kind of slender 2-1 win for them at home. So they definitely, look a little bit shaken. But I always hate that because, I'm just going to make a point here now that I hate it when a team gets beat before they play us. I like to see them winning. Now, it's always good to see, that, like, yeah, they're off form, we can take advantage of that. But I just feel like it always gives these teams more of a reason to go out and use us as the example. To use Celtic as the whipping boys to say we're fine. Because they know they can. If they turn it on and they go to the max, if they put the volume all the way up, it's got to be really hard for Celtic to contain that, if you're just being brutally honest. So I always hate seeing them lose other teams in Europe before we play them, just because of that exact reason. But if you do look at it, glass half full rather than half empty, which is the way we should, it's a good place to be in. Atletico haven't been great throughout this Champions League campaign. That's just brutal honesty. I don't think they've been anything special. Celtic have done what they can against the opposition we've faced. This is a huge opportunity for us. You suddenly get another point here, or even better, 3 points. This group is still wide open for something to happen. And I mentioned in the intro of the video, we do need a bit of luck on our side with the other result. It'd be ideal if Feyenoord beat Lazio, because let's be real, we're competing for third place. But if we can somehow get a win here at the Metropolitano on Tuesday night, that, opens up a world of opportunity for us in this group. So the players need to know that going into this game. We need to feed them that confidence, that motivation. We got a fantastic result at the weekend to go into this game in the right state of mind. I'm much happier knowing we're going into this game just now after Ross County rather than going in after Hibs or St Mirren. So we've set ourselves up nicely, and we've also got players coming into the team who were given a rest at the weekend, which is great. I think Brendan Rodgers made a really smart decision at the weekend to bench Kyogo, to rest Matt O'Reilly. Yeah, Kyogo came on later on in the game, but keeping their legs nice and, fit for this game was good. And it was great that O'Reilly didn't even have to come on the park on Saturday. It means that they go into this game with no kind of strain or problems. We obviously minimise the risk of injury as well. We go into this game a man light with Rio Hatate being unavailable, but we coped fine without him for 85 minutes of the first game. I'm glad the position that we walk into this game. So that was a really good move from Brendan Rodgers. I'm happy with that. Let's just get out there and go for it from the first whistle. I think the best thing we can do is do what we've done at Celtic Park and just take the game to them. It is a completely different game. It's a completely different atmosphere, and it's much trickier. But there's no reason why we can't just go for it the way that we did at Celtic Park just because there's a venue change. I think that's what gets these teams in the ropes. I don't think they expect it. And obviously we've only played them 2 weeks ago, so they might expect it this time round. But if we can go out there and find something early, put them on the ropes, I think that's when Celtic are at their best. And that's when we make the opportunity easier for ourselves. So I hope that we treat that game the same. Of course, Atletico might start the game like that. But what's key about this game is keeping them frustrated for as long as possible. Don't let them get something early. Don't give away a stupid goal. Because if we can get them frustrated, I think it's only a matter of time before they start doing silly things. Daft things. They've got so much quality in that side. But you've seen it hurt them. It hurt their pride a little bit, leaving Celtic Park with only a point. Diego Simeone didn't even want to shake the hand of Brendan Rodgers. Frustration was through the roof. If you can bring that same frustration out in them late in the first half, going into the second half, that suits us down to a T. So I hope that we find a way to do that. Defensively, we need to be really astute. And just going forward, create the same chances that we did at Celtic Park because they're there for the taking. Let's come on to team selection. Once again, I think the team picks itself for Tuesday night. I would have this side on screen as my starting 11. I think the biggest conversation is in the middle of the park. Who starts in Rio Hatate's place in a game like this? A lot of people will be saying David Turnbull after his fantastic game against Ross County at the weekend. A lot of people will be saying Odin Thiago Holm because he's been really good coming off the bench in the last couple of games. And a lot of people will be saying Paulo Bernardo because he done a solid job against Atletico when he came on. I forgot the team there. He done a solid job against Atletico when he came on the park, and I think he's been solid when he's had his chances in the team. For me, it is Bernardo. I just think you've got to go with somebody who has played in the Champions League, who is a workhorse in the middle, who will keep up with the runners. And I just don't think you get that with David Turnbull. I don't think he's that sort of player. For the quality and the positive attributes that David Turnbull brings to this team, with his long shots, with his corner kick delivery, you have to keep up with the quality they have in the middle of the park. And I just don't think David Turnbull has the legs to do that. And if we give away one run, that could be a difference in the game. I would be going for Bernardo or Home, personally. I think Turnbull's a great player to bring off the bench in a game like this, because if you need to find a goal and something falls for him, he's got to be there later in the game with fresh legs to maybe do that. But for me, I just feel like to match that energy at the start of the game, Turnbull's too slow. He's not got that same sort of efficiency in the middle of the park that maybe Bernardo or Thiago Home has. So I'm going for Bernardo if I get a solid game against him at the Celtic Park game. And I'm a big fan of him, to say the least. So I'm going with him. And aside from that, I think the team picks itself. Let's be real. I don't think you really change much about it. Scales is undroppable at the minute. Fullbacks pick themselves. Vickers is Vickers. And the front three, you've got to keep Palmer playing. And you've got to have Maida's legs, his pace to run at this Atletico side. So the team, for me, it does just pick itself. And that's what I'd be going with. Do I bother with a score prediction? I don't know. I've kind of accepted deep down in my soul that I'm heading over to Madrid to see us probably lose, because you've just got to have realism going into these sort of games. But listen, I am filled with confidence. I am. I really do think we can take the game to them. I wouldn't sit here and put an outlandish cry out that we're going to go and beat them. I just want us to compete. I want us to be proud of the team's performance, and if that results in us getting a win, it would be huge. It would be one of the best nights of my life, quite frankly. But realistically, you're facing the toughest task in the group so far, away from home to Atletico. It's probably the game that we were looking forward to the least in terms of a outcome. So, you've just got to be honest with yourself sometimes. But listen, I have faith in Brendan Rodgers. I have faith in this group of players to go out there and do their absolute best, and that'll be, the bare minimum for me anyway, in looking for the final outcome of this game. Right, so that does it. A bit of a rushed match preview, because I've got to get all this edited and done and ready for tomorrow. I leave pretty early. Got to drive to Manchester. So if you want more of an insight to my thoughts on this game, make sure to check out my live stream on the channel from last night with Ryan McGinley. We went into the game in a much bigger depth, if you want to hear even more about it. Bear with me while I'm away. I will try and record some form of match reaction video. It might not be out on Tuesday night, considering I'll be in Madrid and there might be signal issues, battery issues, technology issues. I might not get a video out on Tuesday night, but I will aim to have something up on the channel for Wednesday at least. Just reviewing the game, giving my reaction. So just bear with me, stay patient. You know what it's like when you're at these sort of events. So yeah, so thank you for the support anyway. Like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.